Live from our Kwacha studios in Blantyre, we now bring you the latest edition of MBC News. I'm Kingsley Mdila and my sign language interpreter is Tauson Kamalata. Our top stories. Vice President Dr. Jane Ansah emphasizes that Malawi values its long-standing and productive relationship with the United Kingdom. Malawi Broadcasting Corporation Board challenges its management and staff to exercise professionalism in making sure that the media house regains public trust. And in business, Malawi and Tanzania signed a simplified trade regime aimed at easing the cost of doing business for cross-border traders. Good evening and thank you for joining us. And now to our top story. Vice President Dr. Jane Ansah has emphasized that Malawi values its long-standing and productive relationship with the United Kingdom, describing it as one built on shared values, mutual respect and constructive cooperation at both bilateral and multilateral levels. Dr. Ansah made the remarks at Capitol Hill in Lilongwe when she received the British High Commissioner to Malawi during a Karase call. Charles Wahala reports.
During the meeting, First Vice President Justice Dr. Jane Ansah, SCJA retired, said Malawi highly values the enduring and fruitful relationship with the United Kingdom, which is grounded in shared values, mutual respect and constructive cooperation at both the bilateral and multilateral levels. Dr. Ansah commended the United Kingdom's contribution of 8 million British pounds, approximately 19 billion kwacha, towards humanitarian assistance, following His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's appeal and declaration of a state of disaster in some districts of the country. The First Vice President also held the British High Commissioner's support for Malawi's drive towards trade, mining and tourism. The British High Commissioner to Malawi, Lady Catherine Stubblefield, commended the Mutharika administration for what she described as improved strategies for Malawi's economic recovery and pledged continued support in education and hydropower.
So we are committed to helping the country, of course. The UK remains a long-standing partner to Malawi and the Malawian people. As I mentioned when I met the President, the macro-fiscal challenges facing Malawi are not an aid-shaped problem. They are an investment-shaped problem, and the UK continues to invest in sectors like hydropower and mining and agribusiness here in Malawi. That is what's going to drive economic growth and close that fiscal gap. Aid can support that process, it can cushion the effects of that reform process, but it's not an aid problem, it's an investment issue. And the President himself set that out quite clearly in his speech on Friday. I think what we spoke about was our shared values, our shared history. She reiterated the issues around democratic accountability and that we can be rightly proud of Malawi's fourth peaceful transition of power. That is not something to be taken for granted. We obviously share values in the multilateral system as well. Malawi and the UK sit on the Human Rights Council at the moment, for example, and she assured us of our continued voting alignment. We also talked about the resilience and issues around climate and climate finance and how the UK continues to support Malawi to access the climate finance it so desperately needs.
Stubblefield took up her appointment as British High Commissioner to Malawi in November last year, succeeding Fiona Rich. Charles Wahara, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Members of Parliament have started deliberating on the State of the Nation address that President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika delivered in the House last Friday. Meanwhile, some parliamentarians have praised the President for walking the talk to the electoral promises he made during his campaign. Now, the Human Rights Defenders Coalition HRDC Ad Hoc Committee has held President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's State of the Nation address, describing it as a comprehensive outline of Malawi's key development priorities. Speaking in Lilongwe, HRDC Ad Hoc Committee Chairperson Henderson Mhango commended President Mutharika for focusing on economic recovery, anti-corruption efforts, and measures aimed at stabilizing the country's economy. Emmanuel Chikonso reports.
HRDC Ad Hoc Committee Chairperson Henderson Muhango said the address clearly articulated government plans to revive the economy and restore public confidence through strengthened governance and accountability systems. The committee also welcomed the president's emphasis on industrialization, particularly proposals to restructure mega farms to boost productivity and enhance food security nationwide. However, while applauding the speech, the grouping stressed that policy pronouncements must translate into tangible results. The committee underscored the importance of effective implementation, noting that action, not rhetoric, will determine progress toward national development goals. They further called for collaboration among all stakeholders, including civil society, the private sector, and development partners to ensure the successful execution of the outlined priorities.
Our view on SONA, we have seen some positive things, for example, issues of food and also issues of revamping mega farms, including fighting corruption. These are the major things which can able to push Malawi forward.
Meanwhile, the HRDC Ad Hoc Committee has called for an annual general meeting to deliberate on organization's future direction, citing the need for structured leadership and strategic focus moving forward. Emmanuel Chikonso, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Center for Youth Empowerment and Civic Education says President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's State of the Nation Address SONA gives hope and inspiration to young people. Executive Director for the Center, Lakembewe, said the SONA touched on key issues of youth empowerment and involvement, and he cited community technical colleges, 100 million kwacha youth loans, the Constituency Development Fund, energy and mining as areas which offer young people opportunities for development. He speaks to my Tumodzi.
Initially, if you look at the SONA itself, there are several elements that are attached to the SONA. It's a statement that should give people hope. Okay? Hope because they are coming from a hopeless situation. It's a statement of policy. Policy in the sense that development partners, we as civil society organizations and all other stakeholders, we look up to it to make informed decisions in terms of areas of financing as well as areas of expenditure in terms of national development. And thirdly, it's a statement of unity because it helps to bring all stakeholders together, including the opposition themselves. So that's why I'm saying the SONA is a very, very important process that we all have to expect in terms of what the president is going to address the nation.
EmpowerX Consulting Limited, an innovative strategic advisory firm, says despite sailing through a difficult economic path, the country has the potential to grow significantly because of the government's economic recovery policies. The company's chief executive officer, Nelson Mkwende, says despite President Mutharika projecting the economy to grow by 3.8% this year and 4.9% in 2027, the country can surpass the target because the fruits of the economic recovery are already visible. Mkwende explains.
We've already seen, I think, what the new government is trying to do. We've seen the mandate, we've seen what they're trying to push for. I think right from the go, you can see that they want to ease the pressure in terms of inflation. People should be able to afford what they can afford to stabilize the bit of key resources like fuel, forex, and other things. Like I've said, some of the things will take time. Let's say they have a bit of forex. It's a joint effort by the government and us as people who provide the resources, the moment for forex to come out. All right. So that platform is going to be provided, but it's going to be a slow process. We need to bear with the government and what is happening. Remember, there are other things that cannot be controlled by the government or people. They are natural in nature, and we hear about climate change issues. These are things that no government can take care of. But us as the EmpowerX Consults, we ensure that we work with the government and ensure that we move in the same direction where they need us. We also come in and train the people where need be. We have a mindset issue to deal with as a country. A lot of things that are happening here are not political in nature. They are mostly by our mindset, how we think about how we should do things. So when the Empower X comes in, we're coming in to change that kind of mindset, to work with the government and say, what does the government want to achieve? How do we come in? How do we train the people for them to do the right things? If the people have got the money, what should they do? What sort of financial advice can we provide to ensure that the people put their resources in the right spaces? So you notice that we're coming with a huge impact. This is going to be a process. We're not going to come today and then come December you find the whole spectrum has changed. No.
You're watching NBC News live from our Kwacha studios in Blantyre. A reminder of our top stories. Vice President Dr. Jane Ansah emphasizes that Malawi values its long-standing and productive relationship with the United Kingdom. Malawi Broadcasting Corporation Board challenges its management and staff to exercise professionalism in making sure that the media house regains public trust. And in business, Malawi and Tanzania signed a simplified trade regime aimed at easing the cost of doing business for cross-border traders.
Imagine a Malawi where beauty is more than a view. It's health, it's dignity, it's our shared pride. For years, the Beautifying Malawi Trust, BEAM, has been the heartbeat of this movement. Now, we forge the next chapter. We are proudly launching our new strategic plan for 2026 to 2030. On 27th February 2026, history is made. Join nation leaders, development partners, and change makers at Kamuzu Palace, Maki from 6 p.m. This landmark event will be graced by His Excellency, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika. Standard tickets are going at 100,000 kwacha only. Gold, 200,000 kwacha. Platinum, 1 million kwacha. And corporate table of 10 people, 5 million kwacha. Be part of the movement. Together, we can build cleaner communities, healthier families, and a more beautiful Malawi. In partnership with NBS Bank, your caring bank.
Welcome back. You're watching NBC News live from our Kwacha studios in Blantyre. I'm Kingsley Mtila and Towson Kamalata, our sign language interpreter. Now, board chairperson of the Malawi Broadcasting Corporation, Benson Tembo, has challenged management and staff of the public broadcaster to exercise professionalism in making sure that the mother media house regain public trust. Tembo made the call on Monday when he toured Chichiri and Kwacha broadcasting houses on a familiarization tour. Rashida Matandika has filed this report.
On their visit, the board chairperson, who was in the company of 3 other directors, had an audience with management and members of staff where his message emphasized on unity and professionalism. The chairperson, Benson Tembo, made it clear that professionalism, discipline, integrity and ethical conduct are non-negotiable. He emphasized that by exercising the above, the mother broadcaster can regain public trust, which is paramount.
It is possible that MBC can regain the public trust by applying the unity that I'm talking about, by applying the line of command that we have to follow each time we have issues, not rushing to social media and other people that are not even involved with the issues that we have at NBC. I think if we are applying professionalism in broadcasting, it is very easy for NBC to regain its public trust.
Before their audience with the staff members, the board of directors toured Chichiri and Kwacha studios. In response to challenges that the broadcaster is facing, Tembo said they'll be looked into.
It was important for us to come and see how you're operating as professionals in MBC. We have seen the situation in terms of obsolete equipment that you're using. We have seen that you have infrastructure that needs attention. Some of it is leaking and so forth. So you are working under very strenuous condition. But I have been very impressed personally that despite all these challenges, you are keeping up the corporation afloat, and that is very commendable.
The board members of the corporation took oath of office on the 22nd of January 2026. Rashida Matandika, MBC News, Blantyre.
The Magistrates Court in Lilongwe has granted bail to suspended Chief Executive Officer of the National Economic Empowerment Fund, NEF, Humphrey Mjetseni, after charging him and his co-accused with 3 counts. Mjetseni, who was together with Anderson Mbozi, arrested last Friday, has been charged with counts of money laundering involving 11.85 billion and abuse of office. Our reporter Patrick Dambula was at the court and he now reports.
Following their arrest last Friday, suspended Chief Executive Officer of National Economic Empowerment Fund, NEF, Humphrey Mjetseni, and his co-accused, Anderson Mbozi, who is a civil servant working with the Ministry of Agriculture, on Monday afternoon appeared before the Magistrates Court in Lilongwe to be told the reasons for their detention. Reading out their charges, Magistrate Shukrani Kumbani charged the two with money laundering involving an amount of 11.85 billion kwacha, which the state alleges that was disguised from its original source between 25th and 26th April 2025. On his own, Mjetseni is facing 2 other charges of abuse of office. Mjetseni is being accused of dismissing his personal assistant, Priska Ntewa, unlawfully, which resulted in NEF paying damages of 150 million kwacha. On the other charge of abuse of office, the state is alleging that, without following procurement procedures, Mjetseni bought a building in Area 13 in Lilongwe and another one in Blantyre, each of them costing 1.6 billion kwacha. The accused have since been granted bail on conditions like paying 1 million kwacha each, producing non-cash sureties of 10 million kwacha each, and surrendering their travel documents. One of the defense lawyers, Jefferson Lua, says they are ready to proceed with the case, and what they are expecting are disclosures from the state.
We can't say yet of how prepared we are, but we have always been prepared. Our preparation will be intensified immediately we've been given the disclosures. So that is going to inform us as to how we should be really prepared for the case.
The court will reconvene on 31st March when hearing is supposed to start. Patrick Dambula, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Now we go back to our area story, where members of parliament have now started deliberating on the State of the Nation address that President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika delivered in the House last Friday. Meanwhile, some parliamentarians have praised President Mutharika for walking the talk to the electoral promises he made during his campaign. We now have a joint report by Olive Pili and Austin Fukula.
Member of Parliament for Mulanje South East Buka Matemvu started deliberations by moving a motion on the SONA, saying Malawi for the first time has a president who understands what he is doing. Matemvu said most Malawians are struggling with poverty, which the previous government created due to lack of sound economic policies, but President Mutharika has come up with sustainable ways aimed at alleviating poverty. Matemvu adds that within 4 months, the Mutharika-led government has managed to resolve the fuel crisis in the country, as well as bringing prices of maize down from 75,000 kwacha to around 40,000 kwacha per 50 kg bag of maize.
In the past 4 months, you have actually seen the fruits of leadership that we have seen in this country. Prices of food commodities are going down, inflation is going down, and basically the economy has been stabilized. There are just a few microeconomic variables that have to be worked out, like the forex cover and a few others. But this was the best, short and to the point.
Nino South parliamentarian Mutani Tambala seconded the motion moved by Mulanje South East parliamentarian and held President Mutharika's SONA. Tambala said Mutharika's administration has brought hope to the business community and won donors' confidence due to austerity measures put in place to cut expenses.
The President's SONA is just a reaffirmation of what he promised Malawians. So it is from the manifesto up to his SONA. So if anything, the President was here just to reaffirm us that what he said he's going to do, he is indeed going to do that.
In his contribution to the SONA, leader of opposition, Simplex Ichula Banda, said it is commendable for government to stop issuing licenses for mineral companies.
I also talked about the mining development and exploitation. We commend government for that because they are trying to look at how they can add value to minerals in this country. But we said government should now review and look at the mining development agreements so that nobody comes here and exploit Malawians and then they get quite a lot of mineral proceeds and then foreign countries benefit more than we do.
Meanwhile, UTM spokesperson in Parliament, Felix Njawala, has also commended the State of the Nation address. Njawala has, among others, urged for stronger collaboration across various sectors as the President cannot achieve various development projects alone. Earlier, Speaker of Parliament announced that during the 8-week meeting, the Minister of Finance is expected to present the 2026-2027 budget on 27th February 2026 in the afternoon.
On to business news, and Malawi and Tanzania have signed a simplified trade regime aimed at easing the cost of doing business for cross-border traders. The agreement is expected to reduce the time and taxes traders spend when moving goods between the two countries. Tanzania's Minister of Trade and Industry, Judith Kapinga, says the deal will also broaden the tax base as more traders shift from informal to formal trade routes. Details in this report.
The official signing of the simplified trade regime follows months of negotiations focused on strengthening cross-border economic activities, especially among women and the youths. Under the agreement, consignments valued under $2,000 will attract lower processing fees, no import duty, as well as reduced clearance time at border ports. Malawi's Minister of Industrialization, Business and Tourism, Simon Itai, says the development will not only reduce poverty but also help create employment opportunities.
The cross-border traders, especially women and the youth, will now be able to export or sell their items into Tanzania easily than they were doing hitherto. Because as you are aware, when we look at the systems and the processes of exporting items into another country, usually they are very cumbersome. So with this agreement, what it means is that all that is now eased and the people should be able to trade. And the payment for processing is also a very minimal, $1.
Meanwhile, Tanzanian Trade Minister Judith Kapinga says formalizing cross-border trading will increase trade volumes between the two countries while enhancing revenue collection.
There was a little bit complication for the small scale traders when they want to do business across the borders. The procedures were a little bit complicated. But now with the existence of the STR, the procedures have been simplified. For example, the rules of origin forms that are going to be filled by the traders across, they have been very much simplified.
The Cross-Border Traders Association Secretary General Richard Batch has described the agreement as a milestone for small and medium enterprises, saying it will remove long-standing barriers affecting the sector.
The coming in of the simplified trade regime is going to remove the import duty. So just the removal of the import duty, it is adding already on the profit or maximizing the profit that the small scale traders do make. As you are aware that most of the time when we traders are at the border, we do sometimes face unnecessary delays. So the coming in of the simplified trade regime will simplify the custom systems and border procedures.
Trade figures show that in 2020, 2021, Malawi exported goods worth $22 million to Tanzania, whilst importing goods valued at $64 million. In 2024, imports rose to $77 million, whilst exports stood at $20.5 million, highlighting a widening trade imbalance. Trust Office, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Democratic Progressive Party DPP has launched its campaign for local government local government by-election in Mkongo Ward in Mangochi, with a call to registered voters to rally behind the party's candidate during the by-election slated for 17 March this year. DPP Vice President for the Eastern Region, Bright Msaka, presided over the official launch of the campaign, where he also unveiled the party's candidate, Arthur Kunje. Owen Mavula with the report.
The ruling Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, has officially launched its campaign for local government by-election slated for March 17 in Mikongo Ward in Mangochi, Northeast. The official launch of the campaign has been held at Malukula Primary School ground, where multitudes, most of them clad in DPP colors, gathered to witness the event, an electoral stage in which party candidates prepare and present their ideas on critical developmental issues to voters. Speaking when he officially launched the campaign period, DPP Vice President for the Eastern Region, Bright Msaka, urged all registered voters to rally behind the party for continued development, saying under the leadership of President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, the party has already proven to be of good track record in areas of development.
This is a DPP stronghold. Mangochi has turned out to be a DPP stronghold. So has the entire Eastern region. And therefore, speaker after speaker assured us that they will not make a mistake, but they will vote for the DPP councillor that is interested in this ward. And we are, as a government and as a ruling party, ready, quite apart from the 5 billion that is coming to this constituency after the budget. We are ready as a government and as a ruling party to ensure that more development comes to this area in terms of roads, infrastructure, electricity, and other facilities.
Apart from unveiling the party's candidate for the ward, Arthur Kunje, the DPP Vice President for the Eastern Region, also unveiled a well-known political analyst, Wonderful Nkuche, who has joined the party. In an interview with MBC, Nkuche said he has joined DPP after being impressed with the party's leadership and vision.
I know most people it's going to be a surprise, but I've always been a member of DPP for some time. But for now, would like to openly be working with the party, looking at how much I can contribute to the party through my experiences and also skills. I've always been in talks with the party leadership, and we thought it wise that this is the time that now I can formally come out in the public to say I'm a member of the party.
Malawi Electoral Commission MEC suspended local government election for Mikongo Ward in Mangochi, Northeast, following the death of one of the candidates in the area who died in August 2025. Owen Mavula, MBC, Mangochi.
And in sports, the Malawi national women's team, the Scorchers, has arrived in South Africa to compete at the COSAFA Women's Championship, which starts on Wednesday. Head coach Love Mofazili has named a 24-member final squad for the tournament. Fazili has included 4 players who were part of the Malawi Under-20 squad that recently progressed to the final round of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifiers after beating Guinea-Bissau 6-2 on aggregate. The quartet comprises Letitia Chinyamula, Olivia Picani, Sarah Mlimbika, and Maureen Kenneth. Well, that item concludes the bulletin. A recap of our top stories before we leave. Vice President Dr. Jane Ansah emphasizes that Malawi values its long-standing and productive relationship with the United Kingdom. Malawi Broadcasting Corporation Board challenges its management and staff to exercise professionalism in making sure that the media house regains public trust. And in business, Malawi and Tanzania signed a simplified trade regime aimed at easing the cost of doing business for cross-border traders. You can keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. On behalf of the News and Current Affairs Department, I am Kingsley Mtila and Towson Kamalata, our sign language interpreter. Thanks for watching and bye for now.
Good evening, and it's time for weather forecast. Very heavy rains were experienced over most areas across the country in a period of 24 hours and were recorded and reported this morning with